Hi there, I'm Scott Wyatt with Busch Protective, working here today with Contech Industries. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a comparison and a live shoot between really focusing on the difference between the NIJ IIIA test and the DEA-FBI Ballistic Helmet Protocol. Now, we can't do everything that's part of the new protocol. However, today what we're going to be able to do is show you the difference focusing on penetration and also back face deformation and the real difference between the two. The rounds we're going to be using today, we're going to shoot the 9mm NATO 124 grain 9mm ball round. We're also going to shoot a 125 grain 357 SIG. And the reason we use the 357 SIG, it's the same amount of mass, but we get an increased velocity. And so that's going to give you more of a velocity closer to 1,400 feet per second, which is what we do in the lab. The NIJ test from 1981, revised in 1985, focuses solely on penetration. So that test, all they do is, and it's not even a certification, this is just a test that's done at labs. They're going to take a helmet and they shoot it 5 times. Those shots are also 2 inches from the edge. So what they do is they'll shoot it once in the front, once in the back, once on this side, once in the crown, another time on this side. As long as that bullet does not pass through, completely through the material, it's considered a pass. Realizing that that was insufficient for today's standards with wanting to minimize TBI, keep officers in the fight in both the short term and long term, the DEA, FBI, and the marshals put together a protocol which was released in 2019. In that protocol, they said, hey, listen, we want to make sure that the helmet that the agents are wearing is going to protect them in any scenario, in any environment in the United States. They also wanted to make sure that that officer, should they encounter a ballistic event and take a round, that they're going to stay in the fight in the short term. At the same time, they also realize that officer safety is important and long-term health is critical. So we want to make sure that that officer, if they get hit, they're not going to be out long-term on medical and they're not going to suffer a decreased quality of life. So the other components of the FBI DEA protocol that are way different from the NIJ test is that they're also now, we're taking helmets and we're subjecting them to extreme environmental conditions. So those helmets are brought down to minus 40 degrees and then tested. Those helmets are brought up to 140 degrees, basically to simulate the heat of a trunk of a vehicle, and then tested. And not only do those helmets have to perform and still stop those rounds with penetration, but they also can't have back face signatures in the Romo-Plastilina clay that is more than a certain measurement. It's 20 millimeters in the front, 15 in the back. For those of you who are aware of body armor, you're allowed 44 millimeters and pass the NIJ certification. This right here is the is a simulation of the peep sight head form. So the NIJ head form is essentially has aluminum posts here and here. It's just meant to clamp the helmet down. And because they're only worried about penetrations, those metal head forms or those metal posts in the front artificially stop the helmet from caving in. So the peep sight head form is clay, 360 degrees around. And the reason that we use the peep sight is so that when that helmet is placed on the clay head form and it is shot, at that point they use a Faro device, which takes a digital measurement all the way down to 1,000th of a millimeter, and they essentially are going to measure the back face deformation in the clay. We're able to translate that into amount of allowable TBI or allowable energy that's transmitted into the head. You're gonna see that today. So what we're gonna show you is we're gonna shoot basically 2 helmets. We're gonna shoot the Busch AMP-1 TP. We're gonna shoot it versus Competitor X. I'm not gonna tell you who the brand is. This is a very popular helmet, high-end, sold in the neighborhood of $1,200 to $1,500 that's issued to numerous law enforcement agencies. It is considered an NIJ IIIA helmet, means it's tested to stop 9mm and 44 mag, penetration only. Our TP is also tested against the basic NIJ test, 9mm, 44 mag. However, our TP is also tested against the European VPAM 2009 testing standard, as well as it is the only helmet that is certified for use by the entire Department of Justice for the DEA-FBI Ballistic Helmet Protocol. So we're gonna basically put 1 round on one side of the helmet on the clay head form, then we're gonna switch the helmets, we're gonna leave the head form alone, we're gonna take the other helmet, put it on, we're gonna shoot it side by side. This is gonna be a 1-inch test, 25 millimeters from the edge, kind of depending on my aim, but we're gonna aim for a 1-inch test to simulate the DEA. We're then gonna pull the helmet off and you're gonna be able to see the difference in the back face deformation if there is any. Then we're gonna swap the clay head form around. We're now gonna shoot the back of the helmet, but this time we're gonna shoot it from 2 inches, or about 50 millimeters. And that's to simulate the NIJ test. and you'll see the difference between 1 inch from the edge and 2 inches from the edge. Now the NIJ test doesn't test 1 inch from the edge, but the difference in trauma between 1 inch and 2 inch is huge. And if you think of this, if you're shooting your helmet and you don't have to stop anything within 2 inches of the edge, you have a very small surface area. So the Busch helmet, not only can we stop shots 1 inch from the edge, we very often are stopping shots ½ inch to a quarter of an inch from the edge. So your actual surface area is significantly higher. Last thing we're going to talk about after we shoot the helmets is what they look like on the inside. We're going to show you, we're going to compare the two helmets on the inside, and then if time permits, I'd like to dump an entire box of 9mm 124 grain NATO rounds into this helmet and show you how this beast can handle all of it. So let's get started. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the clay peep side head form. We're gonna stick it on our board here. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the Busch AMP-1 TP. We're gonna place that on the head form. We're gonna select a round. We're gonna shoot this with a 9mm 124 grain NATO round. We're gonna put one shot, and we're gonna simulate the DEA-FBI ballistic helmet protocol, which is 25 millimeters or about 1 inch from the edge. We're gonna put one shot on there. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the helmet off. We're gonna grab the competitor's helmet. We're gonna put it right on the same exact spot, and we're gonna shoot it on the other side of the head, 1 inch from the edge, and you'll be able to see the comparison side by side. Mike?
Sounds good.
All right, Mike, randomly pull one round from the box, please. So again, this is the 9mm NATO 124 grain round. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're gonna load that up. Just so you guys can see, this is a magnet. There's no penetrators or anything in any of these rounds. You can see how the magnet works. This is the round we're gonna use. Mike, randomly pull one for the competitor's helmet. Boom, okay. Okay, cool. So we're gonna load that up. Perfect. We already have, let's head down. We already have the helmet ready to go. I'm gonna put a sticker on here. We're gonna have this be a continuous stream because I want everybody to be able to see from start to finish. We're gonna do the reveal afterwards. Same with the other helmet. So we're gonna just keep it running here.
All right.
And we're gonna aim to put this 25 millimeters or about 1 inch from the edge. This is simulating the FBI DEA protocol. Okay. All right, eyes and ears, and I'm using a Taurus. It's got about a 3.5 to 4 inch barrel. Estimated velocity when we put this through the chrono is between about 1,150, 1,175 feet per second. Now keep in mind that at the speed that we use in the labs in all the testing, whether it's the NIJ or the DEA, is 1,400 feet per second. Which gives you that extra cushion. But street velocity, you're getting about 1150 out of it. All right, eyes and ears. Single round, 9mm. Range is hot. Clear. All right. I'd say that's about 1 inch. All right, so I'm gonna take this off. Now again, this is the same Romoplastilina clay that we use in body armor, ceramic rifle plate testing. All right. And I'm gonna spin this around so you can get it in light. So you can see a slight little dimple here and you see a pattern from the inside ballistic pad. And here's the helmet. So you can see where the round impacted, and that's the inside of the helmet. I don't have a calibration tool here, but I would put that at about 1 millimeter of backface. The allowable backface on the FBI DEA protocol is actually 20 millimeters. Now 20 millimeters is still quite a bit of energy, but that's less than 1 millimeter. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go grab the competitor's helmet, we're gonna come put it on the other side, and we're gonna shoot the competitor's spot right here. All right, now we are going to basically duplicate the exact same shot we just did, the DEA-FBI protocol, 25 millimeters or 1 inch from the edge. We've already prepped the helmet, we've got it on the clay head form, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take this other 9mm round, as you can see, it's the same exact round. Whoops, I just tapped it, right? So we're gonna take that same round and we're going to put it 25 millimeters from the edge. I'm gonna put my sticker up on here. And we're gonna aim for 1 inch from the edge. I'm gonna turn it a little bit so I don't hit that NVG shroud. We're gonna aim for right there. All right. All right, everybody, eyes and ears. Again, 9mm, 124 grain NATO round. Range is hot. I shot it a little high, but that's okay. I think we're gonna we'll be just fine. Weapon is clear. Guys, come on up if you want to see us. So again, we had the Busch TP got shot on this side of the head form, and on the right side of the head form, you have the competitor's helmet. All right, you got that shin buckle? All right, and here we go.
Whoa. Wow.
Let me turn this around.
Bad day.
So I would estimate, I can get my, I'm gonna get my ruler here. Wherever the ruler went. There it is. So I'm gonna take this ruler. This is obviously not a scientific method, but we measure from where the clay would have been and from the, millimeter side. So that right there, probably about 22 millimeters.
Wow.
Now, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what 22 millimeters is gonna do, but I'd rather be that dude than that dude. Now the second thing I want you guys to notice, and this is super important, notice we haven't touched the helmet. Did you zoom in on the clay, and did you notice this fragmentation that's embedded within the skull? So that piece right there, that's a nut that is on the inside, and if I dig that out, there's a bolt that's embedded inside there. That is perfect 17 grain fragmentation, secondary fragmentation, that came from the small bolt that holds the NVG shroud on the inside of that helmet. And here's what the inside of that helmet looks like. So while the round stopped, so in the NIJ's world, right, in the old NIJ test, this is a stop. The manufacturer's gonna say, oh yeah, we're good. And the reason is, there's no test that they have to stop the secondary fragmentation. But we've taken high-speed video and we've seen this duplicated time and time again. We've slowed down the frames and we know the velocity of the rounds coming in, and looking at that frame rate coming out, we know that this secondary fragmentation is entering into the head at about 800 to 900 feet per second. Not as fast as the round, but that right there is a significant trauma overall in the head. And then secondly, now you've got you got fragmentation on the inside of your helmet. That's what you're trying to avoid. So that's one of the primary reasons why in the DEA-FBI protocol, they basically said, hey, listen, it's more than just stopping the round. You've also got to make sure there's no secondary fragmentation, and you can't have a dent like that. All right, so what we did was now we put the Busch helmet back on. We rotated the head form around 180 degrees. The reason for that is, keep in mind the DEA-FBI protocol shoots from about 1 inch. The NIJ test is 2 inches. So you've got a lot more surface area. Usually the results on our helmet, quite frankly, is pretty much the same because we don't have much back face. On competitors, they usually do much better when they have the 2 inches, right. Because just you don't get as much strength around the edge. That's part of the reason, you know, why it's so hard to do what we do. So we're gonna throw a round on there, eyes and ears. There you go. Thank you. Same thing, we're not gonna do a continuous cut, we're just gonna keep rolling. All right, so 2 inches from the edge, same 9mm round, 124 grain NATO round. Range is hot. All right, let's take this off. I'd say pretty much a nothing sandwich. So, all right, now we're gonna put the same 9mm round on the back of the helmet. We're going for 2 inches, about 50 millimeters from the edge. Range is hot, eyes and ears. Here we go. So again, it's not going to be as much, and that's what that extra inch of material gives you. 10 to 12 millimeters of back face. Nobody can pass that 1 inch shot. And if you think about the extra surface area that you have from having just that extra 1 inch, how much more protection you get. Boom. Okay. All right, we're gonna switch gears here. Instead of using the 9mm 124 grain, we're basically gonna switch to a 357 SIG. The 357 SIG is also 124 grain. It's actually 125 grain. But basically the reason we're gonna do that is it's a neck down 40. You're gonna get a higher velocity. So the velocity out of the 357 SIG we're gonna get is about 1390 to 1400 feet per second, and that basically simulates the velocity that you encounter in the NIJ test labs, as well as the DEA-FBI lab. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put 3 rounds across the side, and we'll do the same reveal on ours, and then we'll do it to the competitor's helmet. Let's put a 4th one on for good measure. So now I'm gonna do the same thing on the competitor. I'm gonna only shoot 3 on theirs.
Okay.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put an entire box of 9 on the AMP-1 TP and just punish it. So I'm gonna put 50 more rounds. There's already, what, 5 rounds in there?
Yeah, 5 rounds. You know what's crazy is I mean, going into this, I have a guess. I think the Busch helmet is gonna look and resemble more like a helmet still after the fact of being punished after, like, I don't know, 50 rounds than the competitors will.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's pancaked pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah. not going to focus on the clay, obviously. Okay, so obviously on the clay, you can tell there's no penetrations, right? And this is the helmet. So we had the initial 5 rounds, we had 2 9s, 4 57 SIGs, and 50 more 9mm. That's what the inside of the helmet looks like. And if we cut the pad system out, all right, so as you can see, I think we put 5 rounds total on the competitor's helmet. We've got a total of, what, 56 rounds. 56 on the Busch. Still intact, no penetrations, bolt shots, everything. At the end of the day, this is a great helmet for what it was designed for. Fragmentation for military purposes. That's why we focus on law enforcement.
Yeah.
CQB. So at the end of the day, Mike, you got to make your choice. Which direction you going?
Oh, without a doubt, definitely Busch. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I've seen a lot of Scott's videos in the past, but when you're actually out here in person, actually see the amount of deformation that really occurs on these other PE helmets, it's night and day. And so, I mean, we're not a helmet manufacturer, but there's a clear reason why we work with Busch, and that's why.
Yeah. So, Mike, I've got our Busch Protective Challenge coin.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Take care.